Hey, what's up, everybody? And welcome to Vibes, Community, and Conversation, where we are
building communities one vibe at a time.
one vibe at a time, baby. I'm your host, Mike, aka The Cool Guy, and I'm here with my co-host,
The Jazzy One.
The Jazzy One is what they call him.
Hello, everybody, and welcome to the latest episode of Vibes, Community, and Conversation. We are here today with Elder Anton Smith and his lovely wife, Missionary Zakiya Smith, and we are going to get to know them today and learn about how God has been good to them in their lives. So welcome, welcome, welcome.
Yeah, thank you. Welcome.
Thank you. So we'll just start with telling us a little bit more about yourself. Elder Anton, we'll start with you, where you're from, how you grew up, all of the good stuff.
Oh, man. So I'm from a small town called Safety Harbor, Florida.
Okay.
Was born in Clearwater at Morton Plant Hospital, raised up primarily in those two cities, Greenwood, and then Lincoln Highlands is the neighborhood that I grew up in at Safety Harbor.
Okay.
Couldn't be absolutely totally different in terms of environment. You had on Greenwood, you had the Elks Club, you had the old theater.
That's right.
You had the Blue Note, you had the Flame, you had Johnny's Barbecue, Johnny's Barbershop, Big Jim's Barbecue.
Okay.
Whereas in there was so much traffic, along with other things.
Right.
But in Safety Harbor, it was more like that area called Lincoln Highlands was more where Black folks were allowed to live and buy own property.
Okay.
So my grandparents settled there when they moved to Clearwater. I would say that my life wasn't very different from a lot of Black people.
Okay.
Grew up with a single mother.
Okay.
I didn't really find out who my father was until the age of 18. I think if there was an element that was missing, it was a sense of family.
Okay.
A sense of belonging. A sense of being loved, and what love looks like. My family wasn't the touchy-feely, lovey, I love you. We never said that stuff.
Oh, okay.
So by my adolescent years, I'm looking for it in other places. And especially being in those two environments, especially in Greenwood, you had Greenwood wasn't really known for gang activity, but it was there.
Okay.
And it was mostly like what they call gangster disciple offshoots,
Right.
Like Folk Nation and stuff like that. But these were people that I grew up with, and they just kind of brought me into this subculture, of the community. But to put the emphasis on the hand of God, because there were some situations, hindsight always being 2020, right? There are some situations that I have been in where it could have been nothing but God.
That's right.
Why I'm sitting here right now. And the connection is, her grandmother lived on Greenwood.
Okay.
Well, right off Greenwood. And her family had moved up from St. Pete.
Okay.
To take care of her grandmother.
Okay.
So we met at Dunedin Middle School.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Cool. All right.
So, but again, I think the biggest lasting impact that I think, from my upbringing was, of course, my grandmother was the one who introduced me to God.
Okay.
Okay.
I grew up in a small church called Bethlehem Missionary Baptist Church in Safety Harbor.
Okay.
And she was a member there for well over 50 years.
Oh.
So that's where I had my first communion. That's where I was baptized. That's where I learned scripture. That's where I learned what intimacy with God is. And ultimately, that's where I preached my first sermon when I was 16.
Oh, wow. You remember the topic?
Love.
Love. Okay.
The love of God.
The love of God.
For me.
That's big.
My first sermon was on love.
Okay.
The love of God, and kind of, I didn't know what it was then. But in theological circles, they call it exegetical preaching, which is basically line by line, precept by precept, taking the scripture and breaking it down. And now looking back at it, I was 16. Wow. It was awesome though.
Yeah.
It was a riveting experience because everybody in the church is small. It maybe had at any given time maybe 150 people tops. And everybody knew me. Everybody knew my grandmother.
Okay.
And one of the mothers of the church, I must have been probably like 9 or 10 years old. And she prophesied over me and said that you are going to be the modern day Jeremiah.
Okay.
I'm 9. Right? Like, this lady's crazy. And at the time, she was already like 85. I was like, okay, cool.
Right.
But obviously the prophecy came true, and it's not like, I think you have to be a little off to want to be a preacher. Like,
special people.
Yeah, there you go.
That's it.
Like, who? You're like, I mean, come on. Like, while my friends, again, the Greenwood element, right? While my friends are all hanging out on Greenwood, or they go over at the pool that used to be up on Greenwood next to, or was it behind, what was Pinellas High? It's now Clearwater Fundamental. Hanging out in front of the barbershop, doing whatever, chunky Sundays down at Cherry Harris Park.
Right.
I'm in the house reading the Bible and a lexicon. Like, and when I did get a taste of freedom, I lost my mind. But my experiences weren't tragic. They were hard. They were hard. But they are what makes me who I am today. I did, while I was out there in the streets, I did part of gang culture is drugs.
Okay.
So in a gang's culture, there are different ways every set gets money. And every set has, like, so if you go down Greenwood, and you're going from on MLK all the way to Bel Air, each set had their own territory.
Okay.
Right? And so I lived off of Saturn in MLK. That block right there, another set ain't coming in that block. So if you were selling dope, if you we called them back then, if you were hitting the lick, that meant you were robbing.
Okay.
If everybody in our set had their own speciality.
Right.
Or specialty, rather. And the reason why so many young people are so drawn to that, and if you could take that and like blow that up to a city like Chicago, it was just a smaller microcosm. But the reason why so many young people are drawn to that is that sense of belonging.
Okay.
I didn't have that. And so I struggled with substance abuse. I struggled with emotional instability. I could go from my grandmother used to call it going from 0 to 60 in the snap of a finger. Yeah, so the anger issues, the feelings of abandonment, all of that stuff. But I thank God for all of it because it gave me a greater appreciation for my own life, the man that I became, and I still feel like I'm on the potter's wheel, you know what I mean? I'm still being molded, stretched, and shaped, and to who God has destined me to be. And the way that He has blessed me in my life through my children, through my faith journey, in every stop that I've made, and ultimately, it's so amazing because meeting her when I was in the 6th grade, I thought it was 6th grade.
I didn't move to Clearwater 7th grade.
So it was 7th grade.
Okay.
7th grade. I'm off by a year. I didn't think I met her in 7th grade, and I never thought that some 25 some odd years later.
Right.
Yeah.
So you met her in 7th grade. When did you all actually start dating?
We dated briefly in middle school.
Okay.
You call that dating?
Dating. We'll do it like that.
Wait. Let me
put it in quote.
Do you
Yes.
like me?
Check the box.
Yes or no?
Yes.
Oh boy. Okay.
Yeah.
But I'm so grateful, honestly, and even with, and she'll probably talk more about it, but even when we started dating, we were both in kind of similar places.
Yeah.
Okay.
In terms of where we were living, where we were living. She had her degree, so she at least had that. I was like, okay, I got a GED with a little bit of college. But we were in kind of similar places, and you can even see the hand of God preserving both of us.
Okay.
Because I'm pretty sure that there are times where we looked at each other and like,
How did I get here?
I don't.
Oh, the way he talked about.
Oh, goodness.
Oh, come on. But to put it all in a nutshell, where from then to now, for me at least, was, I don't even really know how to put it into words.
Mm-hmm.
When you think about the totality of your life,
That's right.
and all of the stuff and all of the moving parts, that multi-layer onion, all that stuff, all the stuff that comes with that, to be where we are in our marriage, to be where we are in our different careers, to be where we are in our faith journey, to be where we are at Prayer Tower.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Like, even just that, right? Just being at Prayer Tower,
right?
It's kind of crazy to me.
Okay.
Because as a Baptist,
right,
people, you know, as a kid, you guys pretty much grown up in church, right? Church has its own culture, right? And in the Baptist church, there was just some stuff that just wasn't happening.
Right. That's a whole culture of its own.
Right? You, in a Baptist church, unless it has some Pentecostal flair, people didn't get visited by the Holy Ghost. If they did,
move them on out of the way. Yeah. You couldn't get loud. Yeah, you couldn't do none of that. No, I remember.
The fanning, they get the deaconesses with the fanning, the pastor be like,
oh, wow.
Disrupting the service.
Oh my!
She'll tell you. I say all the time. I refer to myself as a Metho Baptist Costalist, because I went from the Baptist church to the Methodist church, and there was even a brief moment in between that before I had my first son. That I considered a life in the priesthood of the Roman Catholic Church.
Wow.
And when I got to the Methodist Church, I liked the structure of it, the hierarchical structure of it. But when we were at Mount Olive, how long?
At 5 years. We were at Mount Olive.
I don't know how I got in touch with Pastor Ricky, but I just friended him on Facebook. And we had already moved.
We had moved down to St. Pete from Clearwater.
And we were commuting from St. Pete to downtown Clearwater, where Mount Olive is. And great people, great leadership. My pastor there, Pastor James Mason Williams, was instrumental in searching for my next phase of ministry. So I came and actually had a meeting with Pastor Ricky, and I call it drinking the Kool-Aid. Okay. We came on, I think it was a church anniversary, and been there ever since.
Okay. That's awesome.
That is.
I love my church family. I love my job family, and I love where I am in my own family.
That's awesome.
And the fact that we're currently, I guess you could say, still new homeowners.
Okay. Congratulations.
Congratulations on that.
Yeah.
Missionary Zakiya. Let's hear a little bit about you. At your time zone on Greenwood.
Look, I'm actually from St. Petersburg. I was born at St. Anthony's Hospital.
Okay.
And grew up in St. Pete, back when they was busing us everywhere.
Mm-hmm.
Went to 5 different elementary schools, living in St. Pete.
Mm-hmm.
But I grew up totally different than him.
Okay.
My mama and daddy, 48 years married now. 6 kids.
Mm-hmm.
I had 3 older brothers, 2 younger sisters. I'm number 4. And just a cute little story about how my parents scarred me. So there's 6 of us. My oldest brother, his name is Joe, just Joe.
Mm-hmm.
Not even Joseph, just Joe Lewis. That's my oldest brother. Then James, then Jonathan, then it's me, Zakiya, then Christina and Melinda. I'm the only person that can't get a cup at Disney World. Why they do me like that? But anyway,
Wow.
so yeah.
I can't get one either, but
Right.
So we were in St. Pete until halfway through 7th grade.
Mm-hmm.
And my grandmother had a stroke. The one that lived in Clearwater off of Greenwood. So they packed up our whole family and moved us to Clearwater, which was the most traumatic thing in my life. Because everybody I knew was in St. Petersburg.
Mm-hmm.
And apparently there was this, war between St. Pete and Clearwater.
Yes.
Yes.
It was a weird thing.
Yes.
So when I went from going to Bay Point Middle
Mm-hmm.
to Dunedin Middle, people didn't like me because I was from St. Pete and I didn't quite understand what was happening. And then it didn't help either that I was in honors classes. And so I had a different kind of struggle from him because what my issue was when I was growing up, I had people calling me names and stuff because I did well in school,
Mm-hmm.
which I always thought was the strangest thing. And because, I come from a family of educators, so we were really drilled into us to speak properly.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
And people would sit behind me, literally, we're in 7th grade. This is not little kids. These are people we almost get into high school, and they would sit behind me and pull my hair and say, white girl, white girl, white. I'm like, so, so I had a different kind of trauma. And it was sad because it was coming from my own people. And then being at Dunedin, it was a little bit higher class white people. So
Yes.
I didn't quite fit in with any
Right.
vibes.
Gotcha.
Yes.
The white people didn't want to hang out with me because I was black. The black people didn't want to hang out with me because they thought I was uppity or whatever.
Yeah.
But I lived on Greenwood too, so I don't understand.
Right.
I just had my daddy there told me not to go out that door. You better not be talking to nobody you're not supposed to talk to. And it was a real strange situation for me growing up because then in that community, most people, mom and daddies weren't together.
Yes.
And so it was odd that, I had both my parents in the house.
Mm-hmm.
So it was a different kind of dynamic. I was raised a little bit different than my peers,
Right.
So so I didn't quite understand where they were coming from. They didn't quite understand where I was coming from. And as I got older, I realized, when you have those different dynamics in a household, that you have a different worldview.
Mm-hmm.
It really does. It changes your worldview.
Mm-hmm.
One of the things that I realized that, with our dynamics, it's a little bit different, like in our parenting, because of the way we were raised. It was different,
Right.
Mm-hmm.
So, but we did move to Clearwater. And, I met him when we was in middle school. He had the audacity to knock on my door one time, and my daddy answered it. The audacity.
Took a chance.
He took a chance.
I did. And her dad was much younger then, and
yeah, he was much younger and scarier.
He's scarier, much, looking back at it now, it's like, okay, So when you're 11, 12.
Yeah. You don't know no better.
Yeah, you don't know no better. You just know what you like.
It didn't dawn on me, right? I'm a 12-year-old boy knocking on this man's door asking for his 12-year-old, 13-year-old daughter.
Yeah.
Wait, well, that's dating.
Yeah. And the funny thing about it was, when we started dating years later, and we finally, things were getting serious, whatever. I asked her dad if, he remembered that. Yeah.
Yeah, you ain't gonna forget that.
Come on, man. What? And he said what I just said. What were you? What did you? Did you think? Did you think I was gonna Yeah, she. Right. I thought I was gonna die. Actually,
You didn't die.
Yeah.
So yeah.
That's funny.
So I made some different choices in life for other reasons. I wasn't raised in the church.
Okay.
How do I explain this? My mother is, I don't want to call her a church hopper. We were in the Episcopal church because that's what my grandfather was. But then, there was times where we went to the Mormon church. My dad's mother, on the other hand, was a mother at Pentecostal Temple.
Mm.
So Kojik's always been part of my life
Right.
because that's my dad's mother. So Kojik's always been part of my life. And then we went, where did we go next? Then we were living in Clearwater, and Mother Baker started Overcoming Church of God in Christ. That was fun. As a teenager, it was right across the street, literally across the street from the house. So it was no excuse not to go. We had, and then my mom got in her real religious phase at the moment. And so then all of a sudden we couldn't wear pants anymore.
Mm. Okay.
And I'm share a little thing because people need to know.
Right.
I had a problem. I had a problem with the church.
Mm.
Especially in that time as a teenager, like 14, 15, and you're going to tell me I can't wear pants. And I had been wearing pants and stuff all of this time, and now all of a sudden you changing the rules. And why is this so important? Why does God even care about this? Even as a teenager, I'm questioning, why is this so important? But as I got older and I went to different churches and did different things, I realized that that's not even important. And why am I going to let myself get upset? It's not even about the people. And is wearing a dress going to hurt me? Really? Right. It's not hurting me at all.
Mm-hmm.
And this rebellion in me to not want to because they're telling me to was a problem. Mm-hmm. I still don't see what the issue is. But I digress. It's not something that we got to choose our battles. And is this something that God want me to sit up there and be upset about?
Okay. Right. That's right.
So young girls, it's not that big a deal. Put the dress in. So I did end up in Church of God in Christ then. And then once we moved, my parents purchased a house away from the neighborhood. We ended up at Countryside Christian Center. And I was at Countryside Christian Center for almost 20 years at a non-denominational church.
Okay.
And, that's where, when I had my first son, that's where he was. And, so, and I really loved it there. And then when I went to school, I really wasn't going to church.
Mm-hmm.
I was on campus having a good time, and I think that I lived such a sheltered life because my daddy really, really wasn't about letting us be out or partying or none of that kind of stuff.
Staying the night at people.
No, that wasn't happening.
Sound like my house.
Not gonna happen.
I don't think I ever saw her at Chunky Sunday.
No, you never did. You never did. And that's why people like, so-and-so, so. No, I do not. If they didn't live in my house, I did not know them. So, but, I went to school and lost my mind for a minute, and, before, I got with Anton, I already had 3 kids, 3 different daddies, not married. I don't know if I was looking for some kind of connection or what, but one day after, boyfriend, we put that in quotes, after boyfriend, all of these things in my life. And I realized, what I was doing to my children and what I was doing to myself. And, I started going to church again. I was back at Countryside Christian, and people there are just, really welcoming, and, my family's there. And one day I just broke down and I was like, God, I can't do this anymore. I just can't. I can't do this to myself or to my children anymore, living the way that I was living, and I'm like, God, I can't. And I just want it to be me, you, and my children. And that's all I need right now.
Mm-hmm.
And that's all I need. And I asked God for that. And then the next day he sent me a message on Facebook.
There it is.
And that was that. And I was like, hey, come to church with me.
Okay.
And he showed up in that gold suit.
Uh-oh.
I did, but
And he showed up in that gold suit. And he showed up in that gold suit, and he had 4 kids. I had 3 kids. That's a lot of kids.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
Not all in the same house, and so, now we get together, we get married, we have 7 children. Well, 8 if we include Tyreek. We don't include Tyreek, 8. That's his stepson, but Tyreek, he went odds too. So we have 8 kids spread out everywhere.
Mm-hmm.
Another reason children do it God's way.
yes.
We have 8 kids with 8 different parents involved. It's a mess with the logistics. It's a mess telling kids that, they going with their family, but you here, and then they going with their family.
Right.
And it's a lesson that I learned the hard way.
Mm-hmm.
But with God's help, all things are possible.
Mm-hmm.
But when you do it God's way, you don't have to deal with all of these things.
We think I call, especially early in our marriage, I called our family the United Nations.
Yes, it's the United Nations.
Nations.
The UN.
All of our children are different races. That's what my sister was calling me that anyway. But we are the United Nations.
We got a son in New Jersey, kids in
Texas now.
Texas,
Italian, Irish, Puerto Rican.
Oh, wow.
We got them all.
Okay.
We got them all. So yeah. So our family's extremely blended. But you know what? We make it work.
God has blessed you.
God has blessed us, and I tell you, it has not been easy, because before we got married, things was okay. We got married, and it seemed like every attack of the enemy,
everyone,
every single
everyone,
because we wanted to do what was right.
Mm-hmm.
When we started dating, I think that I was painting.
Mm-hmm.
I was painting at the time, and as a painter, a commercial painter, you can make some good money.
Mm-hmm.
It really just depended on who you were working for,
Mm-hmm.
or the company you were working for. And this particular company that I was working for, it was like you were a subcontractor working under another contractor's license.
Gotcha.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
So anytime they go in and bid on a job, right, there's a set dollar amount for labor.
Mm-hmm.
And once you go past that number, that's it.
Right.
But at the time, I was making good money.
Mm-hmm.
And as soon, and she was doing okay, you know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
But the moment we said, I don't know how long it had been, but we had finally came to the agreement that it's time and you need to do this God's way. Man. And it you know how the scripture says weeping may endure for a night.
Mm-hmm.
That's right.
I always say, how long is that night?
Like it's a long night.
Long night.
Like,
Long
when
night.
it's gonna be morning.
You know what I mean?
Long night.
Because how many places did we move into in Clearwater, and how many times were we evicted?
We were evicted twice in 1 year.
Mm.
Wow.
It was when I tell you, it was just part of the journey was learning to manage finances, and
that's a whole nother
it's
podcast.
a whole nother podcast. A whole nother podcast. But we got evicted from the first place. Then we found somewhere. That's when we got evicted, and then we lived with his sister for a little bit. We had to send our kids to live with other people, making sure they were getting to school. At one point, and then we moved. We finally found a place, saved up money, got in another place, and
everything
stuff just started falling apart. We had moved back to St. Pete because it was cheaper than trying to live in Clearwater.
Right.
And so,
especially downtown Clearwater.
Yeah, especially.
Yeah.
Clearwater's just expensive. And so we had moved to the south side. We had got a decent house in a decent neighborhood and just couldn't manage that. Evicted again. I'm working full time. And we got the 3 kids. We had 1, 2, 3 kids at home. And then we got other minor children that, we doing what we supposed to do by them. So we got 3 kids, and then we got the other minor kids that we send child support to. So his money is just always just flowing out. Seem like it's just like it's going out faster than it could come in. And so this time when we got evicted, we ended up calling 211. Thank God for 211. And we ended up getting put up in a hotel while we were saving money. They gave you budgeting help and all of these things and tell you, you need to save up this amount of money, and then we'll help you with your security deposit and stuff and blah, 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 blah. And so in the meantime, people at work didn't know I'm going from the hotel, my kids getting picked up there for school, going into work and having to eat whatever we can cook in the hotel room and all of these things. And, we finally did that, and we finally got another place. But when I tell you, the place was so small.
Yeah.
So small. And it's us and 3 kids in this teeny tiny house. And we was in that house almost 7 years.
Oh,
yeah.
We was in that house for a while.
Yeah,
good little minute.
Over by where Munchies is.
Yeah, over there off of 40th Avenue South.
Lakewood
Elementary down there.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
But and it was still a struggle. But we were doing well because 7 years in this place and not getting evicted. Thank you, Jesus. And so we're doing what we need to do, and then the opportunity came for us to rent a bigger place. And that was great, and and so as all these things are happening, I've switched jobs, and it had always been, I could get a little bit more money if I go here. I can get a little bit more money if I go here, and, doing what I had to do to just keep moving up. And so then where we were renting, we had to move again.
Not because we were
evicted, but we had to move because they wanted to do other things with the property. So we ended up moving again now to the north side, but small place again. It's like,
Nice area.
Nice area.
Right.
But
just small.
tight quarters for the number of people. And now kids are big kids.
Mm-hmm.
You know.
Yeah.
Well, now we only had the boys because by then now.
Yeah, because
Jasmine's gotten married. She's moved out. She's doing her thing, and it's just so now.
Until Taraji came on.
Taraji came before we moved. Yeah, and Taraji.
Right.
And in the midst of these things, after we're in a big. No, she's 8. She's 8. I counted her already.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Right.
So so many kids we can't even keep track of. But yeah, and so in the midst of all these things, then his sister, we found out that she was pregnant. She's mentally ill. They called us 3 weeks before the baby's due and said, "Hey, we need somebody to get this baby. We don't want to put her in the system."
Mm-hmm.
Right.
And it's not that everything's perfect with us, and not that it's still not a struggle every day, but I couldn't imagine letting this baby go somewhere that's not family.
Right.
When you hear the horror stories.
Yeah. And I couldn't even.
My aunt worked as a social worker for what was then HRS and then the Department of Children and Families. And, just hearing her talk, over her 30-plus year career about what she's had to do on her job was like, no. And then on top of that, my mom had already had 2
siblings, already.
So for me, it was a no-brainer. But it was a long journey.
Mm-hmm.
And it's one thing in this conversation that I want to highlight, that in our community, as Black people, our ancestors, the stuff that they had to go through when they first touched down on these shores, on this soil, fast forwarding all the way up through Reconstruction, Jim Crow, the 50s, the 60s, the Bull Connor era, up to now, our external environment has said that we have to man up. We have to have thick skin. We have to in some ways be emotionless. And that whatever you feel has to be swept under the rug.
Yeah, push that to the side.
Push that to the side.
Yeah.
And just deal with it. Right? So mental health is so important to me. And from time to time, it'll come out when I preach. And I think that I think, first of all, I want to thank God for Joyce Carolov.
Okay.
Because, and it is my prayer that many more people inside of Prayer Tower would tap into that resource. Because even now today, there are times where I'm on this roller coaster ride of melancholy. I'm good. I'm happy. And then boom, crash, burn. Right. And she has been such an incredible resource. But I think this topic of mental health and emotional stability has to be at the forefront in our community. It has to be.
Definitely.
Because even like when she was talking about different experiences, it's like my granddaddy was my daddy.
Mm-hmm.
The only two men I had in my life was my granddaddy, and my grandparents had 5 girls and 1 boy.
Mm-hmm.
And my uncle died when I was like 13.
Okay.
So, and then the only other uncle that I had was one of my aunt's husbands was doing other stuff.
Right.
You know what I mean? So, like, having a father, I had identity issues, man. Imagine waking up every day knowing that somewhere out there is somebody that you look like, and I'm looking in the mirror, and I don't really look like any of these people. Like the people that I live with, my grandparents, like my 2 sisters that I grew up with, they had the same father. I had a different father, and it created such a dilemma from my own psyche to the point to where, like, what was so bad? I didn't know the circumstances of why I didn't know my dad. But in my head, I'm saying to myself, what was so wrong with me?
Right.
That you didn't want me?
Right.
Like, how is a child supposed to get past that? But I actually, even now today, having over 15 plus years build a relationship with her parents, it's so funny because if you walk in their house and you see the dynamics of how they interact with each other, it's amazing. Like 48 years. 48 years. Right? I mean, Mike, your parents were together forever.
Yeah. That's
right?
To death did they part.
And it's like, that was so strange to me outside of my grandparents. My grandparents have been married for 50 plus years, but I didn't, outside of that, there was no correlation for me. So being married to her and having her parents were like my own parents. And then I connected with my dad, and my stepmom, who were both military.
Okay.
And so part of the reason why I didn't have them in my life is because, they were all over the place.
Oh, right.
But I thank God for where we are. It has been a struggle, though. I will say this before I give it back to her. I firmly believe this, there is a special anointing and favor when you do things God's way.
Yep.
Like, even when you can't see it, when you do it God's way, I'm not talking about being perfect.
No.
Right.
But you are genuinely making a conscious decision to say, yeah, I could do this, but no, I'm going to do it God's way. We had terrible credit.
Terrible.
Right.
Terrible.
You ain't on the
Terrible.
You ain't on the way. You ain't on the way.
Terrible.
Look, been there, done that.
And a guy on my job who knows Pastor Ricky pretty well. You know, I was just talking with him, and we were having some conversations, and he was having a new house built. I'm like, wow, that's pretty cool. And we even on lunch one day went by and seen, you know, the process of the house being built. And I'm looking at this black man, and I'm like, the house is huge. Mm-hmm. Like, well over 2,000 square feet. Mm-hmm. I'm like, waterfront property. Mm-hmm. And so we got to talking, and he said, step out on faith. Mm-hmm. You say you trust God, right? I mean, this man, and these were conversations that went on for a few months.
Okay.
Mm-hmm. And finally, I came home and I told her about it. Mm-hmm. And it was kind of those looks like, okay, Negro.
my degree is in accounting.
Okay.
And you telling me
that
with our credit and our money,
we gonna do this.
That we gonna buy a house.
Yeah.
Like y'all heard when I shared this.
Yes.
Mm-hmm. Like when I tell you, I've never had a point where I could not sleep, where something stressed me out that bad. Because I'm just God gave me this thing where, and I know it's nothing but God, and it's been the Holy Ghost my whole life, where things I can't hold on to things don't stick to me and bother me and have me disturbed or anything. Like something can happen and I'd be upset for a minute, but then I just
gotta move.
My brain just move on. Right. It is I almost forget that it happened. It just be like, I'm done with that. But this thing had me so worried. So worried. I mean, up in the middle of the night, pacing the floor. And when I had never understood that, when people are like, you know, when God have you up in the middle of the night, pacing the floor in the middle of the night, are you so worried? I'm like, I don't know what that is. I found out what that was. and it was hard for me because, I mean, I tell you, I'm running numbers. I'm looking at all the papers they send me. I'm running the numbers. We ain't gonna be able to do this. We absolutely. I don't know. I don't even know how this is gonna happen. But God,
that's right.
Yeah,
I tell you, when they, especially, and we had a really good realtor.
Yes.
That I'm like, okay, so and it worked out because our credit wasn't even good enough to get down payment assistance.
Nope.
They require a certain credit just to get down payment assistance, right? Mm-hmm. And so our credit wasn't even good enough to get down payment assistance.
Nope.
And the thing is, it's not like I had credit cards or anything. It's just old stuff. It never just built back up after old stuff that I did, and the way they do credit scores and stuff.
Right.
And so it just happens that I'm on an excellent job that gives you excellent 401k benefits. Mm-hmm. I mean, when I first started there, they gave you 10%. Mm-hmm. You didn't have to do anything. Mm-hmm. They change it. They give us 6% and they match 4%. Mm-hmm. So still, I didn't realize how much it had been building up. Mm-hmm. Just over a few years. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. That down payment money was right there in my 401k account, waiting for this. That's right. You know, and it came just in time. And what I was able to withdraw that was already fully vested was just a certain amount of money. And so I'm like, this is all we have to work with. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. And I'm like, the numbers kept looking like, yeah, it's just not going to be enough. It's just not going to be quite enough. But the realtor was really good. She got the seller's realtor to work with her and take some of the fees and stuff. And what we had just ended, being exactly what we needed.
Yep.
That's it.
It ended up being exactly what we needed. And the thing is, and you know, we don't live in St. Pete anymore. That's sad. But
I've already got a plan though.
Yeah.
We got
it'll happen. We'll be back. But we ended up, you know, in a place where we were able to get a house with enough bedrooms to have my mother-in-law and the other 2 kids, Taraji, brother and sister, so they could all be together.
Cool.
Mm-hmm. In a very nice,
in a nice neighborhood.
Nice neighborhood.
Where my niece, she can walk to school. And it was a school for my nephew. You know, he has some special needs, and it was the school right around the corner. The bus come pick him up. But it all worked out so perfectly. And then, you know, even after, you know, I was looking at how much mortgage and all the stuff. And then it worked out, you know, and I never wish ill on anybody. But my boss got fired. And so I got a little increase to take some of his job responsibility. I'm like, thank you, Jesus, you made it work. Look, even it didn't work out for somebody, but it worked out for me. And, you know, and it's
I got a promotion as well.
And you got a promotion too. Yeah. And I say, you know, God don't say you have to have everything. Just trust him.
Yes.
That's right.
He'll provide. Just move.
Yes.
And that's the lesson, is even when it doesn't look like it, even when you don't feel it. You know, I wish I could remember the name of the song. Even when I can't see it, you're working. Even when I can't feel it, you're working. He never stopped.
Yeah, that's right.
He never stopped working.
That's right.
That's one of my favorite ones. He never stopped working. Even when we can't see it, he working. You know, through, you know, disobedience as a young person, trying to live life my own way, I can do what I want to do, you know. And another little thing I want to share with you. I was married twice before him.
Okay.
One was a real abusive relationship. One, he ended up being a drug addict. My mom was married twice before she married my daddy.
Okay.
Had 3 kids before she married my daddy. And so I saw inspiration in my mother. I'm not gonna cry, talk about my mom. But and she know how I feel about it. I saw inspiration in her that there was still hope for me, because I saw what God did in her life.
That's right.
You know, although she had been married before, had other children, she met her and my daddy already knew each other. They from St. Pete, everybody kind of know each other. They already knew each other anyway. But then she married my daddy, who's like the best man on the earth. Sorry. And took my brothers. Y'all can't tell them nothing. That's their daddy. And 48 years later, you know, with 3 more kids, and God made a way.
Definitely.
You know, and I tell you, it's like when you can look back, not just over my life, but I can look at what God's done for my parents, what he did for my grandparents, and that, you know, even though we go through these rebellious phases, we realize that's why they say train up a child in the way they should go, and they will not depart from it. Because I don't care all the stuff, and I mean, I did stuff. I did some stuff.
Thank God for grace and mercy.
Thank God for grace and mercy, because I did some stuff. I should have, when they say I should have been dead sleeping in my grave, I should have been dead sleeping in my grave. But God, and when you turn your life back around to him, it's just so amazing when you see how he protected you, how he kept you.
Yeah.
Because I should have been dead. I should have been crazy. I should be in a padded room. You know, I could be suffering from all kinds of diseases and stuff, but God kept me. God kept me for the person that he had for me. You know,
vice versa. And to be completely honest, I think with the polarizing time that we live in, and particularly in society of this country, the division and all of that, there is a sentiment that is growing and has been growing, that to know God to have fellowship with God and to make that publicly known is almost totally antithetical to the culture, right?
Mm-hmm.
And there's I'm a Pauline preacher by nature, and the Apostle Paul talks about being turned over to a reprobate mind. Mm-hmm. Okay, you want to do it your way? This what you really want this?
Yes.
As we used to say back on Greenwood, you really about that life?
Right, exactly.
You want that? Okay, go ahead. Go ahead. And what can happen? The danger is, yes, God has grace. There is mercy.
Mm-hmm.
But the danger that you're playing with is you might not make it back.
Mm-hmm.
Playing roulette.
Yep.
Right?
Yep.
That's right.
You there are people who walk around and don't have their mind no more.
Mm-hmm.
There are literally people who have luggage now that they'll be carrying for the rest of their natural life.
Mm-hmm.
Right?
Yeah.
And then that complicates the fact of whether they can have a relationship. Who is going to want that kind of, you know what I'm saying? So when now that I'm thinking about it, and as many times as I've studied that scripture, it just hit me that there's God's design in what we think we want for ourselves and what we want to do in our plans and stuff, you know what I mean? You know what but again, it just goes back. Do it
God's way.
God's way.
Yes.
It's so much easier.
Yeah.
Look, hindsight really is 20/20.
You can say it's easier.
It is.
But
when you're in it.
When you're in it, yeah.
You don't seem as
yeah.
Seem like you struggle, you go through some things.
We go through some things.
Let's get ourselves together.
Yeah.
You all have come through a lot. I mean, I didn't know y'all's story.
Yeah.
And to sit here and to be able to hear this story, it inspires me and makes me feel better because people look at me and say, oh, that's just Mike. Oh, that's Deacon Boy.
But they don't know.
And they don't know.
They don't have a clue.
Speak of Greenwood.
Yeah.
Some hair stood up on the back of my neck because I lived a life, man, that was like, I wasn't taught that.
Yeah.
I lived some things that I look back on, I'd be like, thank you, Lord.
Thank you.
Like you said, supposed to be dead 3 times.
Yeah.
Elder Skinner, who was the assistant pastor at our church.
Yes.
Several events took place. And on that second event, he said, Mike, 3 strikes you out. Thinking back over that stuff, it was like, man, I don't want that life no more. I need to be in God's protection. And he was protecting me all along. Don't get me wrong. Because he protected me when I'm a fool. You know what they say? Protect fools and babies.
Yep.
Babies and fools. Well, I guess I was the fool because I wasn't no baby no more. But I understand that his protection has brought me to where I am today.
Yeah.
And it has done the same for you too.
Yes.
Yeah, that's why when as imperfect as I am, that's why when I stand behind that sacred desk, I speak with such passion.
Definitely.
Because I have lived what I'm trying to tell. What I'm trying to tell you, I'm not just blowing smoke.
Right. Right.
And I think sometimes as believers, there is a tendency. Church and fellowship worship becomes routine. And you go to the same place every Sunday, Bible study, all these different events and stuff. And then you go and listen to this person and that is speaking to you about your spiritual and physical condition.
Right.
Wondering, what do you really know
About.
Right.
Right?
Yeah.
But when you really, and that's why I said what I said Sunday, we don't know what our leaders live.
Right.
They might give you a brief window, a brief synopsis of what, but they're never telling you everything.
No, you won't get it all. No.
Right? And think about this. You know our pastor, you know our first lady. They are extremely private people in a sense. So when you think about experience versus, I don't play. That's just me. You hear Pastor Ricky when I call him Prophet Red come out. He talk about prophet liars, and, stuff like that. But when you've lived it, you have a leg to stand on.
That's right. That's right. And that's the thing we need to get over to our young people, because so many of them are lost. We talk about the different household that you grew up in versus where you grew up, versus how I grew up, Jazz grew up. We had different types of foundations, and making sure that we create those strong foundations to build upon. Many of our young people don't have that. You speak about a father who you never knew and things of that nature, and that's the way it is with a lot of our young people today. And even the ones who know their fathers, they can't interact with them because a lot of them are incarcerated, been murdered, different things. And so society paints the picture for our people as we have to stay in survival mode. We should be thriving. And so even though you live through these circumstances, we should be able to grab hold to each other and help each other and encourage each other to move past those things that seem to be a barrier to us.
Right.
And just work together to strengthen our people.
Right.
But so many people, I don't understand it. And, maybe it's not for me to understand, but I would think you would want to thrive versus staying in the survival mode.
Yeah.
And I don't think, but the thing is, I don't know if people realize when they're in survival mode.
They don't.
No.
You don't.
I think they think it's just an everyday, this is how
It's just
normal
what it
I'm
is.
supposed to live this way. And we need to expound on those type of things with our young people. And not only young people, and I think back, thank God he don't put a number on stuff. Meaning, you too old to get it now. You ain't get it then. It's too late. It's never too late. As long as you got breath, you're in your right mind. And so I think those type of things we need to make sure our young people and others know.
Learn.
It's room for you.
Learn who we are.
That's right. That's right.
Learn what I always say. You can never know where you're going until you figured out where you came from.
That's right.
And I'm a big history person.
I could tell.
She gets. I think it annoys her sometimes. But I think if our young people, not just our young people, but us in general, you talk about that community aspect. If they really dug in of who our ancestors are, think of this for a second. 12.5 million people left West Africa to come here. 3.5 million people could have possibly died on the way here. Right? Think about that for a minute. How many people, how many Jewish people died in the Holocaust? Mm-hmm. Right? Mm-hmm. And you think about that number of our ancestors, not the journey itself, but just being captured, being stored like cattle, mm-hmm. and then your whole identity being erased. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. To get here to serve somebody else and being considered no more than 3/5 of a human being. Mm-hmm. There you go. Right?
Yeah.
If you could persevere that, yeah. You mean to tell me you can't make it past anything else that's going on in your life? I'm saying. And over there, even if you go to like, places like Ghana, mm-hmm. Benin, Togo, Cameroon, Gabon, Nigeria, when it comes to community, it ain't like, oh, you get yours, I got you I got mine, you better. Mm-hmm. It's not like that.
Working together to make sure we all. Yeah. That's right.
Everybody eat.
That's right. That's right. That's the deal.
Everybody eat on so many different levels. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. And I wish we had that here, but we have to take into consideration what's divided us for the past 200 years. Mm-hmm. But that's another part.
That's a whole other podcast.
I love it.
But,
yeah.
I'm grateful. Thanks, guys. I don't think there's ever been a time where we've had this opportunity not like this.
Casual, conversation.
To
be able to just open up and
talk about it, because I was doing a dance in the hallway at work. when I tell you this, God is just, when people talk about being amazed by God, I'm just, it's like, especially in this past year, mm-hmm. has been crazy. So, because just coming from me being a teenage parent, mm-hmm. to where I am now, all things are possible. Mm-hmm. All things are possible with God, because we have to understand, and like this was my whole message about the testimony, mm-hmm. about sharing these things, and this is why what you're doing is so important.
Thank you.
So super important, yes. that we share these stories and share our experiences with one another, mm-hmm. because I didn't have anybody when I was pregnant in high school to come and say, "Hey, you don't have to stop going to school."
Without judgment,
or sending you to us, because they were seriously. I'm in honors class. I'm in honors and AP classes. And they trying to send me to a school for pregnant girls.
Yeah,
you need to go talk to my daddy. You bumped your head. I may have made some choices,
right.
but that doesn't have to deter you from what you have in the future.
Doesn't minimize.
And for a minute, I did. I was going to speak into the teen parent class at St. P. High.
Okay.
Tell you, because I don't know how it's changed, but because I had a child, it automatically made me independent, so I didn't have to apply for funding for school under my parents' income.
Okay.
I got scholarships and Pell Grant paid it because I had Pell Grant. It allowed me to have almost free daycare at school while I was in class.
Oh,
mm-hmm.
There's opportunities and things that when we don't share it. We don't share the information with other people. Mm-hmm. So then they think they're stuck, mm-hmm. because they just don't have the information.
Yeah.
And if we have the information, why are we not sharing it? It's like this book I had read. It's like, if you know that Jesus is the way to salvation, how much do you have to hate a person not to tell them about Jesus?
Right.
We have this information that can help people bring our community up.
That's right.
Yeah.
Behind us. Why are we not sharing it?
Yeah.
Saying, hey, you can still do these are opportunities for you.
Mm.
Just because you made some choices that may have deterred you a little bit doesn't mean you stop here.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Don't give up.
We got too many people who are afraid
Yeah.
to speak their truth
Yeah.
because of how they think people are going to perceive
See
them
them.
and
Yeah.
see them.
Yes.
Yeah.
You see a person all clean coming in.
Yeah.
They don't want you to know what just happened before they left the house.
Yeah.
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 And that's the thing we need to get away from. Let people know we all human. We make
Yeah.
mistakes.
Exactly.
We go through all these different things. None of us are perfect. And even though you messed up yesterday, if God grants you another day,
Thank you.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
He still got a plan.
still got a plan for you. Line up,
Yep.
line up,
Yep.
Yeah.
and get it done.
Yep. Don't be. I don't want people to be afraid. And and I found this about church that is and I think Joyce Carol spoke on it. About being in a dark place.
Mm-hmm.
And we get in those dark places and we don't want to share it with anybody. And it's even harder to share it with people in the church because you thinking everybody else in the church is perfect.
Yeah.
So you ashamed to say what's going on with you because you want everybody else to think that you're perfect. So that's all we all in here, all thinking that everybody else is perfect. So we so afraid to talk to each other about what we're going through.
Right.
And we can't be that way.
No,
Yeah.
we have to be open.
No.
Yeah.
No.
And even looking at Jazz, you have come so far.
Look at you.
Like, I remember the first time you got up and spoke in front of people. That was big for you.
It was.
That was big for you. And I'm a lot like Pastor in the sense, well, sheep sometimes start to resemble the shepherd, but
Yeah.
Part of, I guess, my own personal ministry is, when someone is in pain, I can kind of sense that. And you have your own story. Like, it's one of those types of stories where, if you were to verbalize that and put that all together, like, you'd be like, wait, like, you're still here. You still have all of your faculties. And the one thing that I think that is extremely hard for us to do, Jazz, is to trust again.
Yep.
Extremely hard, right? And when you've been the person that has gived and gived and gived and poured out and poured out and poured out and poured out until there's nothing left, and you've been burned so many times, it gets so hard. But let me tell you, you can learn to do two things. Learn to love again and learn to trust again. Because God would never put you in a situation where he can't reach you.
That's right.
And because of your story, because of what you have endured, and because of all of those things, there are so many people, especially now with what you guys are doing, there's so many people that can be impacted just by you telling your story.
Mm-hmm.
So let me leave you with this. I'm going to leave you with 3 words. Impact, evolution, and legacy. Impact, just Jazz being Jazz. Just you being you. Right? evolution being that constant molding that God is doing on you to ultimately glorify him with you being who he's designed you to be, right? In legacy, the legacy is the impact, right? I mean, look. Oh man, I'm sorry.
No. This is great. This is awesome. This is awesome.
Look at what God has done in the lives of your children.
That's right.
Yeah.
Great role model. She's a great role model.
Yeah.
And when I say it is so refreshing having had conversations with your son, he's such a well-spoken young man. Very multifaceted, which is, I find it so refreshing because if you listen to the common lingo,
right,
and you talk to him,
that's the twin.
Right? And then you know, just thinking of like between you and Laverne and all your other siblings,
whole family just
like think about this for a moment. Think about people who aren't even necessarily connected to you that has been impacted by the name Boykin. Like, just a quick question before we go. How did you guys birth this? What was the launching point in where you got, okay, we're going to do this?
So at one point in time, Jazz was working for me. I was a supervisor.
Okay.
And so we would get all the other work done or whatever. We'd have that time to just sit and talk about how we see so many other people put in the spotlight. But some of the people who really need to be in the spotlight were pushed to the side. So we just decided, we need to just have general conversation with people. Just talk about what they're doing well. If they're an entrepreneur or maybe they've gone through some struggles in life, something that would inspire someone else. And that's what it's all about. It's all about service to people.
Yeah.
Right?
Awesome.
I don't do this for any type of monetary benefit. Many people do podcasts to make money.
Yes.
I don't worry about that because God has provided it. It's all about people to us.
Yeah.
I guess when you live that life of isolation that you just mentioned, and you start to understand that even though it happened to me, I'm going to create a platform where other people won't have to live that way.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
And
Absolutely.
So, and of course, Jazz, very instrumental. Everything I say, she writing it down.
Yeah.
And the thing was, she would come back to me and say, all right, you talked about such and such. When you're going to do this piece? When you're going to do that piece? So she was that person that pushed me, because I'm always doing so many different things. Photography, videography, I'm all over.
Yes.
But I just thought, man, this is great. I hear other podcasts, and I'm not knocking anybody's podcast. Some, I don't know why they podcast with all of the language they use in online, but once again, I'm not knocking them. This platform is strictly for folk who have a true story to tell. And we're going to get it out there. Even if it's an event taking place, we'll go cover the event. It's positive. It helped the community. It can help someone. We want to be there. Definitely. So if you know anybody that have a story that you feel need to be told, let us know. You want to come back on and talk about some other things come on back on the show.
Come on back.
We have no problem with being contributors.
Yeah, we're not controlled by the FCC. So we gonna have a conversation. If they don't want to hear about God, then they might not want to listen to this podcast.
Right.
But God is gonna play a role in here,
Absolutely.
regardless. You know what I'm saying? So, So it just made me feel good to have people such as yourself on here and others who have shared the stories. And
I think it's awesome too, because you're the way that you have things, I guess you could call it formatted. It's very chill.
Yeah.
Definitely.
Look, before you wrap it up, I want to say something about him.
Okay.
Real quick. Because I know I probably don't say it enough. But and when I tell you, one of the things that really drew me to him is his love for God. And I knew I needed that in my life. And when God sends you somebody that'll make you better and help draw you closer to him, you know, that's exactly what I needed. And God sent me what I needed. You know, he made me a better person every day.
Amen. Yeah. That's great. That's awesome.
He made me a better person every day. And my sisters probably won't tell you, but they know that because of you, I'm better than I was before you.
Wow.
So
that's
just
awesome.
so you know,
That's
That
a
is
lot.
awesome.
That's a lot. But
that was heavy.
Yeah. Oh my.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I think we make each other better.
we're just so opposite. I think we
That's right.
Yeah.
Opposites attract.
balance each other out.
Because
very well.
there were some things that I probably wouldn't have strived as hard for if she weren't in the picture. You know, I always said that if I would ended up a single parent and all my kids were grown, I'd just like be that wanderer, kind of, that wandering spirit. But with her being so different, it kind of, okay, so we, as a blended family unit, I always wanted to see the best for her. So it pushed me and compelled me to always strive for better, you know, and it also compelled me to do things that I probably, honestly, I wouldn't have done, because when we were struggling, there are some jobs that I'd have been like, yeah, nah, yeah, no, and there are some people that I had to deal with that the pre-God side of me would have come out a lot more. But I knew, okay, so my wife, my kids, for us to make it, I have to do X, Y, Z. And take abuse in some forms.
That's right.
So it always compelled me to strive.
That's right.
And we're not done yet.
No.
Y'all balance each other. You balance each other.
Not done yet.
We're not done yet. We're not done yet.
But look,
man,
going from bad to better.
That's
There
it.
you go.
I mean, and just believe.
That's it. This is awesome. I
Yeah,
love
it is. It really is.
But again, guys, thanks.
Thank
this has
you.
been awesome. And whenever you want us to come back, we'll be back.
Definitely.
Sounds good. Thank you
All
so
right.
much.
Appreciate
I
you.
always said, man, whatever you got going on at work, whatever you need me for,
Okay.
and I'm pretty sure she'd say the same thing.